We'd like to thank all of the peasants flying on Delta today. Relic Delta will get you to Bronzium, where you belong. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails. Today, we're going to talk about the infamous Relic Delta announcement that CG just put out. I am part of the playtest, and so I've known about it for a little bit. And it's there's a lot of feelings going on here, folks, and some of them are mine. We're going to talk about it. So let's do that. First, huge shout out to my patrons. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And if you want to support this channel, folks, please hit the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think of Relic Delta. Maybe watch the video too. You never know. We might agree on something. Probably not. But let's get into it here, folks. This is quite the thing. So for those of you who don't know what Relic Delta is, whoa. It's where I flash my screen at you a couple times. So, all right, here's the post by CG. So, what is Relic Delta? Relic Delta is essentially them reconstructing what the meaning of relics are, like how they interact with other relic levels, so that other bigger relic levels are going to have more power and relevance against smaller relic levels. That's essentially it. I mean, it's trying to find a way to make the higher relic levels better, and they're doing that by making it so that you do almost no damage against some relic levels if you're lower relics, and that you also take about double damage against those same relic levels. It's a little bit crazy. There's a lot of hate. Maybe just nervousness, frustration, just general ill content about this. A lot of other content creators have talked about this. I mean, I think that it's a little bit crazy, the idea of if you're 4 relic levels behind what the other relic level is, relic 5 to relic 9, for instance, that you do 95% less damage and they do 95% more damage to you. It just seems a little bit over the top. It seems a little too much, frankly. And people have said that a lot. There's a lot of issues with it. Tell you what, I have notes. I wrote down notes on my awesome pad. So why don't we go over these notes while I play in the background? I'll play some off meta counters that are probably going to be off the table if this continues, but there is actually some positivity to be had from all of this potentially. So stay tuned for that. That'll be at the end. Let's get into this. This is just from like season 63 or something. This is a while ago, quite a few months. But I guess have fun if you want. I don't really care if you do. I just want something you guys can watch and while I just ramble on. So big issues with this Relic Delta thing, where the relics it's high relics rule the day. I guess first off, it just makes it so that you can't punch up in GAC that well. To me, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, in TW2, that's not as important to me, obviously, but I know that other people really find a lot of enjoyment in territory wars. Ironically, and I don't count this as a positive, but my current guild hates TW and we don't do well at it. And it would be nice to win some trench wars sometimes, like the ones that happen after you lose 2 in a row, that you go down and fight a guild that's 20% lower GP. That would be nice to win those sometimes, which we don't do that too often, so that would be cool. But that's I mean, this is a system of if you pay more money, then you're going to have more success, which is a frustrating thing. Conquest can get pretty rough with this because you're facing Relic 7s. If you're using Relic 3s or lower, which a lot of people do, like I advocate a nice Sisters team, for instance, that isn't even Relic except for old Daka, you might not really be able to make that happen. That's a really frustrating thing. A lot of people will just drop like stones in GAC. Like a lot of you have played or watched me play my Prevail Man live, or watched my replays, or I've done a few recap videos. Like, that account is at 11 million GP, and all the teams are like Relic 5. A few of them have more relics than that, and otherwise I just don't have that many relics on it, and I will just drop like a stone. There's a lot of people that I face that have way more relic levels than me, and I can't actually compete like that. That really does punish some level of skill there. And I mean, it's gonna feel like the squish initially, like we're all just circling the drain. We're just slowly getting pushed out of whatever league we've been in very consistently. A lot of people will start earning way fewer crystals because they can't stay in Kyber 2, even though they're skilled enough to stay in Kyber 2. Their account doesn't reflect that, and that's rough. That is pretty crappy, and people are right to feel nervous about this. I think this is a major change to the game. And whereas I don't want to spread a lot of doom and gloom about this sort of thing, I think I would be lying. I'd be very disingenuous to say that this feels very concerning to me. Like it does. Like, even though I think that there's some, like I said, positive things at the end that we'll talk about, or reasons for positivity, I should say. This is something that if CG messes up too much, it will just end the game. Like, if they goof up, if they just mess it up too much, this could be the end. I don't want it to be. I don't think they want it to be, but I think it could be. So what would it look like? Is it like what would the end look like if we keep this current Relic Delta thing where Relic 5 can't compete with Relic 9? GAC matchmaking would in some ways even out. Like, you'd end up being paired with people that have like similar strength rosters to you, because you wouldn't be able to compete with people who have that much stronger of rosters. Now, it would actually leave a little bit of an interesting component to roster building, in the sense that you'd be able to choose which teams to overinvest in. And so even though the rest of your roster is only Relic 5, sometimes you'll just have a Relic 9 team that is super overpowered compared to everything else your opponent can do, and that can strategically win some matches. I think that actually is an interesting aspect of all of this. I don't love it, honestly, but I think that it has the potential for some interesting roster construction stuff. I think Conquest can be pretty rough. I think Carbonite matchmaking, which I think is under discussed, frankly. Like, a lot of times people will be like, hey, let's do a Beskar League, which, by the way, I'm the one who invented Beskar League. I'm the one who said that first. I called it Beskar League. People call it Beskar League because of me. I just want to take the credit for that real quick. But people talk about Beskar League like, oh, we should have like a super elite GAC League. Yeah, that would be cool. I think more than that, they need to fix the matchmaking in Carbonite. It's already miserable. Like, new players are getting paired. Like, they have less than 1 million GP, and they're facing people with like 7 million GP. And those 7 million GP guys just place all 3 of their Galactic Legends on defense. And it's already miserable for those guys. But then eventually they're able to punch their way out. It takes like a year to get out of Carbonite, which is crazy. But they finally do, and because they can do off meta counters. And it's going to take even longer now. Like, the Carbonite, the Carbonite plight of the people in there it's just going to get worse, because the people in Carbonite aren't going to play GAC. They're just going to continue to be a-holes and place their best teams that are way over relicked compared to what the people in Carbonite that justly are in Carbonite can even match. So it's even going to get worse, which I think that's already one of the worst things in the game that I think should be fixed, is the Carbonite matchmaking. Because it's new players. How many new players have quit because of Carbonite matchmaking? I don't know, like more than one, certainly. Um, so it's a lot. I think one thing it would do, which is maybe good, maybe bad, GAC advancement would be a lot more steady and linear. Like you'd eventually just slowly progress your way to a higher level of GAC. Like you wouldn't grow in fits and starts. It would just be like, yeah, I eventually got there because I relicked enough things that I just overpowered all the people I was in the same group with, and I got there. Um, and upstart accounts like my Prevail Man account would learn it. They would learn their place. It would be great. I could. That seems wonderful. We can all agree that that would be the best. So where do I stand on all of this for like in the game? Like what should be the priority in this game? I think one of the things I've always admired about this game is its ability to balance relic levels with mechanics and be able to provide some kind of reward for people who want to invest in relics while also rewarding skill. I just want to play hard. That's what I said in my stream, and everyone loved that phrase. But I do. I just want to play as skilled people as I can, and just play the best I can. I mean, I've always wanted to do that. That's the sole competition. It doesn't mean always winning. It means you want to be able to play as a skilled player against other skilled players. Like that seems great. And when it's like, well, this Relic 5 person, this guy with a bunch of Relic 5 teams is facing someone with like just a way bigger roster, I just don't think they should auto lose. I think maybe it should look a little different than it is, which we'll get to. But I do think skill should be first. Mechanics should be an incredibly important aspect of the game, and same with modding and to some degree datacrons. I think, especially at the top, I think these mechanics should be an incredibly important aspect of the game, instead of just the idea of, okay, well, it sucks to have a Relic 1 Malik just kill your Relic 9 Ewoks or whatever, which they gave that example. I don't think that actually happens, but I think like that if it does happen, that sucks. That does feel bad for real. But I think the mechanics, I think that mechanics should be an important part of the game, that we should learn the mechanics rather than just bludgeon people to death. You're like, I don't know if this works. Oh, look at that. I have a bunch of Relic 9 guys. They only placed a Relic 5 team on defense. They're screwed. Like, doesn't matter what synergy I have. I'm just gonna throw a bunch of random crap into this team. And like, what, Balin usually doesn't work there? Oh well, it will for me because my Balin team is all Relic 9. I think that's kind of crap. I do think, and this is probably an unpopular opinion based off of what people have been saying, I think Relic 9 should be worth something more than it currently is. I think that it's an incredibly expensive gear level, relic level, whatever you want to call it. And I think a lot of people spend a lot of resources to get to Relic 9 and find that it's not necessary. I don't know how many comments I've had over the years when I make a Relic 9 like video discussing Relic 9 and which things you could maybe do Relic 9 to give you an advantage. How many people have commented saying, here's the actual rule about Relic 9, and I don't actually blame them, but they're like, do the requirement characters and then nothing else, because Relic 9 doesn't matter. And it's kind of true. Like, you don't need it. People who have full Relic 9 rosters lose to people who have quote unquote full Relic 8 or even 7 rosters all the time, because 9 just doesn't really hold its water. Let's just be honest. Relic 9 is very tough to get, and it's not very tough to beat. I'm not saying it should be overpowered, but I think it should hold more power than it currently does. I just, you know, I have to be truthful, guys. I'm going to be truthful about everything. Truthful from my perspective, at least. I get that everyone isn't going to think that way, but I do think the Relic 9 should hold some level of value. So, you know, I'm in the playtest. I'll be holding those values the whole time. Skill first, mechanics are important, and I think that maybe a small amount of this Relic Delta might be good. I do think that right now it's an extreme number, and I think part of that is kind of a rhetorical a rhetorical ploy by CG, trying to show everyone how reasonable they can be. I mean, I don't know for sure. I really don't. But it does seem like 95% on that delta is extreme. Now, that leads me into my positivity, guys. First off, we don't know what the final numbers are going to be. We just don't. People say it's 95%. Yeah, that's unreasonable. That is crazy. The couple playtests I've done, I've hated. I think it's real stupid. Like the teams we're testing against don't even have mods, and it's still just like, I mean, you probably watched the Arnold video. His Sabine's doing like 200 damage with Phoenix against Relic 9 Riva teams. That feels bad. That sucks. That's that's like Datacrons when someone has a 400% defense cron and you have no offense to speak of. Like, it sucks. I get it. But it is a playtest. That they're not saying, hey, this is the final stuff. They're saying, this is the test. We're going to start with this. Does that mean they're going to end at like, are they for sure going to change it from 95%? No, we don't know that. But I mean, if everything was set to begin with, like if they're like, hey, we're doing this, we're testing this, why test it if they're actually going to just implement it? That they're literally saying it's a play test. So if we're testing it, but they're not willing to change anything, it just seems like people are taking this as, oh, this is for sure what's going to be the fact. Whereas it's a playtest. I guess I'm just willing to wait to see what's going to happen. I mean, we've waited for 10 years in this game. I guess I'm willing to wait like another month. You know, I don't know. Call me crazy. Okay, so second off, there's 3 points here of positivity. Second off, why are they including content creators and letting them talk about it? Like that, maybe that doesn't sound like a positive thing. Here's this seems like a big risk, though. For context, for those of you who don't remember, in 2022 when they first introduced datacrons, they did it to an incredibly unpopular perspective from the crowd, because the beta test that they had that like leaked information about it, and it just that their release of it was so awful that everyone hated it. And I'm not saying that it would have been way more popular and way better. I think they could have done a much better job of presenting datacrons in a positive light and had the community adopt them far earlier than they actually did. If they had actually been allowed to release things. But a content creator leaked everything, and it ruined the beta program. It was just an awful thing. And so why would they take this risk? I guess like they clearly hated it so much when someone leaked something like this that they didn't want to do it for 3 more years. Like this was a huge, awful, deal-breaking thing for CG. Why would they now let content creators deal with it, be involved in this, and then let us talk to you guys about it? I'm asking you this because my thought is they value the community feedback here a lot, and that's how they're going to generate a lot of community feedback, is by getting a lot of content creators from a lot of different platforms to test this stuff, talk about it with people, share their experience, and get feedback from the community so that we can all come up with a good solution. Like they value your guys' input, so give input. Like maybe not like be angry if you want, but like provide solid, good feedback. Because I don't think there's anything about this that shouts they don't want the community to have a say. I think it shows everything that they do want the community to have a say. Otherwise, why would they open up the beta test and let people talk about it? Why would they let people talk about it without wanting any feedback at all? If they were just going to decree that the new thing, that this thing is happening, and then walk away, to me it doesn't make sense. Like they want feedback from the community, they want the community to be involved, and so be involved, guys. Finally, the third point, and this is probably the least popular thing that I'll say, but I'll just say this: CG has built this game for 10 years. The game is relatively balanced. It's still fun. Like 10 years in a mobile game is a very challenging thing to accomplish. And whereas we don't need to pat CG's back too much, I mean, the money we've provided them has done enough of that back patting, I think. I do think that they've done a great job of keeping the game alive and making a good game. And I just think that if they're going to make a change like this, first off, I think they're going about it in approximately the right way. They're getting people involved more than just themselves, which they haven't really ever done since 2022. They don't want this game to go away. People are like, this is one last money grab, the final money grab. Like, why would they do one last money grab when they probably have another decade of money grabs to go? I don't think they see this as like, oh, we're gonna end the game now. They've never seen it like that. They just want this game to go on forever. The developers are all passionate and care about this game, actually. Contrary to what you might think, I've met these guys. They actually do care about the game. And whereas that doesn't mean that it doesn't prevent them from making poor decisions, I do think that allows just a little bit of like, maybe they know at least some of what they're doing, and maybe we don't have to just immediately assume the sky is falling. Like, once the sky is fallen, I suppose we can all help each other climb back out from under the sky. But I don't know. I think it's too early for doom and gloom. It's been less than a day, guys. We'll be giving them feedback. I think most of the content creators are aligned in the sense that, like, the 95% delta is a crazy number that is probably not the right number. My guess is that the developers actually probably feel the same, though they haven't said anything. I don't know. We'll find out. I'll provide you guys updates as I have them, of course, but let me know what your thoughts are, guys. I know that there's a lot of feelings, and I'm not saying that you're even wrong. I'm pretty concerned about this myself. I'm not willing to just immediately quit the game, I guess. I'm not going to sell my mods and quit the game. So maybe you guys are. Let me know what your thoughts are. Like, is there gloom and doom? I'm sure there are points I haven't even touched on. There's a lot to think about, guys. There's so much to think. Like, this is a hugely changed. This is a sound like a certain politician. It's a huge change, though. It's enormous. I'm nervous. How about you? Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails. Even the Delta, the Relic Delta. Take care, folks.